listening to Gas Digital Best of the Week.
Breach in trust.
To what?
I sent Lewis a fucking nude.
It's the best.
That would be a pretty major breach in trust.
Why would you, of all the people to send that to?
Because Lewis had sent a nude.
No, hold on.
Whoa.
Relax.
All
You guys send
You guys in
nudes
the
to each
Skull and
other?
Bones Society?
You guys judge anything I say and send nudes?
Shut up.
We're fucked up. We're cool as shit, dude.
Shut up, dude. You figure yourself in the shower, Jay.
Fucking homo. You love a finger in your butt.
Yeah, Jay.
Wait,
That's
were
so
there
gay.
chicks involved in this pictures?
Yes.
Or
All right,
just
so
the two
I-
of you?
No, they're sexting each other,
No, I'll
dude.
tell you what happened. I sent a picture to be funny of myself. It was a funny nude, like an ass shot, like over the shoulder, and then the girl that I sent to showed Shane because she was being funny, and then Shane, for some reason, I get a picture a minute later after I sent this picture to this girl of Shane in the exact same position. The exact same position. So
Yeah.
I thought that he was at home. Turns out Shane just had this shot in his phone. Already, we gotta show it to the camera, dude.
No,
I'll
you
show mine
can't.
too. I'll show mine too.
You can't.
I'll
You
show
can't.
mine too. It's so funny.
No,
Dude, Shane,
No, that's
so
not gonna work.
dude,
That's not gonna work. Don't do
I'll
it.
show to Jay.
Shane,
show it
at
to-
I've
this
never
point,
seen squirming Shane before.
I'm just not gonna put a nude in front of these people.
Shane-
Not even a nude.
It's a very
Is it full frontal?
sexual.
No,
No,
it's an
no, no,
ass.
no. It's just my ass.
Shane
It's a
didn't
funny
get
picture.
this
I think I've
nervous when
sent
he
it
was
to you.
losing Saturday Night Live.
How many ass pics?
For real.
Oh,
How many
He's like,
ass pics
whatever.
do you get?
I've seen this picture. It's a good pic.
Well, show it.
Stop looking through my fucking phone.
I'm waiting for you.
Jay's just trying to see other shit in my
I
phone.
can't
Wow.
see your phone.
Fucking
Wow, the
freaky
power
bitch.
dynamic.
Sideways,
there is
just
fucked up,
find
dude.
the thing.
We're having you on there to leak your nudes.
Look,
Yeah,
talk
true.
while I do this.
We are.
Hey, so when do you think Lewis
Man,
is
what do you
gonna
think's
show
in
us that
Lewis's
picture?
phone?
Can't believe Lewis
What do
hacked
you
your
think
cloud.
he's in that phone? Dude, something's in that phone.
If you show
Bad.
that, I got the dossier on you, my friend. You've been getting drunk and sending me some nudes.
That's so funny, dude. All right, Jay. All right, so here's the one that
Wait,
I sent.
that's just-
Oh, here. It's the one that I sent. And then a minute later, I
Lewis, you
get
should put
this.
that on the big
A
screen.
minute
That's so
later, I
funny.
get this.
You guys should put those both up on the big
It's
screen.
so
Those
stupid,
are
dude.
hilarious and not bad at all.
No,
That's not at all what I thought.
Dude, that's good.
Yeah, show it.
They're showing it.
Look at me.
in.
Hold on.
gotta
Hold
zoom
on.
in.
Before we do this,
These are
I'm not-
hilarious.
I'm not bending to the audience. I just saw a picture and I do agree that it is funny.
It's
I forgot.
so
it was,
funny that I
it
sent
was
this
very
and then
funny.
It's
a
funny
minute
and not
later-
that dirty. It's just
A
hilarious.
minute later, I get a picture back. So hold on.
It's pretty tasteful.
It's just a nice.
very nice.
I got a Hank Hill ass. I got a very flat
so
ass.
this is the one that I
Hey, guy, Lewis. Lewis sent that to a girl.
and then I get a minute later. I get it from Shane. I get this.
You can't even see him.
Shane's
can't
so
even
white,
see
he disappears.
It's the exact same
It's just for
picture.
the troops, dude.
By the way, I love that behind you, Lewis has Legion of Skanks and you have America.
It's the fucking funniest. When I got that picture, I nearly shit my pants. It was the
Well,
funniest thing.
Lewis was talking to. He didn't know I was talking to the girl he was talking to.
Okay.
She got that news.
Was this the waitress?
No.
I forget who it was.
Shh.
I don't know
We
who it
say
was.
we're not saying who anything.
You guys are romantic rivals?
So yeah, obviously.
Non-stop.
Losers.
Me and Shane hit on the same retarded faggot.
Yeah, we're fucking
We're retarded
losers.
fat faggots. So if you like that, you might fuck me and Shane.
If you're into hot edgelords like me and Lewis.
Dude, no, I was trying to be funny as well.
I was trying to be funny. That
I know
wasn't
you
a-
were, but he hit me up. He was like, dude, you weren't trying to be funny. And I was like,
You were
"Hey,
definitely not."
My picture worked on you, you homo. You thought it was hot.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that.
You thought it was hot.
Your picture, you sent that he earnestly sent that
No,
to
I
a
didn't.
woman.
I sent that.
It looks serious. I see.
Thinking
I-
about
He said it
you.
was serious.
that was
No, it's hilarious. I have a flat.
That was all
funny
business.
ass.
You should have
giving her that Mr. 305 love, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing but Latin passion, dude.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, that's Pitbull, dude.
Mr. 305.
I thought it was Pitbull when I first saw it.
Dude, I don't think I've ever laughed harder than the moment when that picture came through. It was the exact same shot. It's crazy.
Your face is
He just
fantastic,
had
Shane.
it. He just had it in his phone.
It's the most open I've ever seen your eyes. What a little cherub, dude. You're adorable.
Thanks, bro.
Oh fuck.
You after her Pac-Man bit. Dude, this fucking lady that emceed for me and Lewis, God bless her, she was a sweetheart. Every single show, extended chunk of her act. You guys play this game, Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Who here knows Miss Pac-Man?
What?
Dude, that game came out in 1981.
Yeah, I mean,
You know how long you've got to be doing a bit?
That's her fucking A stuff, right?
You know
Why-
how
old was
committed?
she?
Probably
60?
No, she's probably in her 40s.
That makes sense for Miss Pac-Man, I guess. That's the
No, that's a nightmare.
No, because like it would have been old when she started doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right. You're right.
Dude, it was some sad shit.
dude, I got about 20 minutes on Pong.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a fucking good chunk, man. It's fucking fantastic. Don't try to update it to Fortnite. Fucking kids aren't gonna fucking understand.
Somebody gave me and my brother a Pong system. Actually, this actually happened when I was a kid. And
Atari, or was it just a Pong?
It was just a Pong system. It had like
Sick.
several different variations of Pong on it. It was the
Alright.
first. It was I think it was the second generation Pong before there was an Atari.
Okay.
And we were hyped.
Sure.
We were like, yeah, this is the first video game. This will be fun. And then we set it up and we're like, you motherfuckers played this for hundreds of hours?
It blew people's fucking minds, man. It fucking blew like his fucking
Because my
controlling shit
it
on
was
the
like
TV.
an old lady on the block. Her husband died, and she was like going through her shit. And she gave it to my mom. My mom was like, "This is gonna be super fun." Even my mom was like, "This fucking sucks." And we had like a Nintendo in the house.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
imagine if table hockey wasn't fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imagine if air hockey was slower. That's what everybody wants from air hockey, right? Fucking sucks.
It's fucking terrible. The old video games are really fucking bad. I mean, Missile Command, that's fucking terrible.
Asteroid's still pretty good.
Centipede holds up.
Does it?
Can I tell you what really holds up?
What's that?
Burger Time.
Mrs. Pac-Man. Burger Time is good. I played that
Burger
recently.
Time's really good. I played that in an
Tapper's
arcade.
still fun. If you get to one of the Tapper machines that actually still has the old Budweiser taps on it,
Yeah.
it's super fun.
Wait, what's Tapper?
Tapper's it's a
You're like
game.
sliding beers down
Yeah,
a
you're
bar.
sliding beers. You're a mustachioed fucking.
You're an old-timey
barkeep.
bartender. Okay.
Yeah, and you're sliding Cowboys beers down the bar.
That's pretty
and
sick.
they had Budweiser. The arcade cabinets had Budweiser taps on it.
God,
You felt
Brandon.
really cool as like a little kid in the bar with your grandpa.
Have you guys ever
Personal
seen the
story.
game Custer's Revenge?
I have seen that
I've
game.
heard of it. Why do I know?
No, I
it?
owned that for Nintendo.
You had Custer's Revenge?
Yes, terrible.
Can you bring up a screenshot of Custer's Revenge for Stanley?
It's not just killing Native Americans, is it? Oh no.
No.
What?
It's raping them.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
You are a naked cowboy with a boner, and you have to rape. Well, I mean, I was going to say fuck, but she's tied up. This big tittied fucking Dominican Native American.
Yeah, she's
And when you win
she's
the round-
very clearly Dominican.
When you win the round, you just fuck her up against that pole.
When was this made? What
It's
was
not
it made
recent.
for?
It was, I think,
80s.
yeah, 80s systems.
Man,
It was an adult game.
in the 80s. Holy shit.
It was this in Leisure. It was that in Leisure Suit Larry. were
I
the
know
only
that.
interactive jerks you could have.
No, there was another one where you're on the top of a building and you're jerking off, and you have women on the bottom and with their mouths open, and so you're controlling the lady at the bottom.
It's just Rampage in reverse.
Yeah, so you're controlling the lady at the bottom, and there's guys jerking off at the top, and you're catching their loads in your mouth as you go
That's
around.
pretty good. I wish that was like a Tiger Electronics handheld. You know what I mean? You really play that on the bus.
What was the Sega CD game where you're like fucking in a sorority house or something and there's like a bunch of girls? It was one of those games where it was like video,
Yeah.
actual video.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I don't
And,
even know
Like
that.
Night Trap.
It was. I think it might have been Night Trap.
Was it a horror game?
It was. I think it was a horror game.
Then it's,
Yeah.
Night, it's Night Trap, I think.
Yeah, I think you could jerk off to that. I think I remember jerking off to that. It was nice because it was like real people. I mean, I like jerking off to like fucking cartoons or whatever, but I think the fucking sprites, I just can't do it.
When I was a kid, they came out with
The
this thing.
girls in the Chad Focus videos, they go by Night Snatch.
It's pretty hot.
There was a...
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's it.
When I was a kid, they came out with a controller for Sega. There was like a ring that went on the ground.
I remember that.
And you like went like this, and this was A and B. But I thought when I was a kid
It was awful, that thing.
that the character did whatever you did.
And that's why you spent all of your
And I
money
got
on
my
that?
parents to get it for me for Christmas because I thought if I played Streets of Rage 2, I could take my shirt off and the girl would take her shirt off. And then I tried it and realized it was just buttons.
That's great kid logic.
And you're like,
But in my head, I thought I was going to get the girl to show her
and
tits.
a young
if I-
Zach Amico.
Yeah.
Luckily, I already had these tits.
Yeah. Luckily, they came with the packaging.
yeah.
But I was convinced I could get the girls in video games to do dirty things if I bought that. Because I didn't understand. Because in the commercial, they would punch. You would throw a punch, and then they would punch.
Yeah.
And that was my logic.
Yeah, which is not how that thing worked at all.
No, you basically had to go like this. Yeah. Like,
To move the thing. Yeah.
it was horrible.
Yeah, it was the worst product
Fucking
ever.
spastic. That's terrible.
That means that's a good thing because a lot of times if you test that shows that there's some potential. Like people are fucking with you now. Like casting directors go, oh, this guy, he tests a lot, he gets a lot of callbacks. And a lot of times it's in the hands of the casting directors. The casting directors are the liaison. You know, they're the liaison to the director, the producers. You know, that's why a lot of times you can't go to anything until you go through a casting director. There's so many different kinds of casting directors. Certain casting directors get the big giant movies, some get the big TV shows, some get you know what I mean? And then there's that. You want to be cool with casting directors. Sometimes and some casting directors, not all, are like people who tried to act, but it didn't work out for them, so they mad. And so they just
Oh no.
sometimes you get that. Some casting directors are straight bitches.
Oh, it's like comedy club bookers.
Right. There's this power thing they have. You have to come through me. And then there's some casting directors that are fantastic. They're just, every time you go in their room, you know you're going to do pretty well because they make you feel relaxed. They make you feel wanted. Some casting directors will look at you like they'll favor other people and then look at you like, oh, you ready? You're like, no. Not with that fucking attitude. Holy shit. I remember being in an audition, man. It was I used to do a lot of commercial auditioning. I don't really do it anymore because I want to get super famous, so they'll just be on my dick. So I was I remember being in an audition because I think that some casting directors actually fuck your audition up. I think they do. Because I think when you have a good take on something, especially with comedy, you go, no, that shit is funny to me. I like it the way I did it. Then they'll go, could you do it like this? It's not that, but you can't really go, that's not that funny. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, well, I'm not sending in your audition. And, you know, they got that power over you. So then you might do it a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't get the part. Then you actually see the actual show and you go, that motherfucker did it the way I was going to do it.
Oh shit.
Sometimes you have that situation.
They just stole your idea.
You never know. And one time I was in a commercial audition. I remember this commercial audition and I had some props. I had to like pick up a phone and grab this. And the dude was like confusing. He was also confused. And I was like, okay, you got to let me know. Okay, do I have to grab the phone first and do this? Because you need to know what order to do things when
Yeah.
you're on film with props.
Of course.
Like even you have lines, you're like, blah, blah, blah. Get on the phone, put it down, get the cup, you know?
Yeah.
And this dude was like confusing. And I say, hey man, I don't understand what you're doing. I'm a little confused. He goes, and he kind of
snapped at you.
snapped. And I fucking said, hey, my man, who the fuck are you talking to?
Oh no! Did you really?
Yeah, in LA. I said, who the fuck are you talking to?
Oh,
I asked you a
shit.
question because it's my audition and I have every right to ask. If I'm confused about something, I'm just asking you to clarify because you're fucking my damn audition up because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So don't fucking yell at me because you have this so-called power bullshit, man. Fuck this audition, dude. Don't ever yell at me. Fuck are you? Oh, I told him that, right? And I said, man, fuck you. Fuck this city too, partner. Don't ever fucking yell at me. I'll hit you with this phone, right? Man, that shit was crazy because I've never had that happen to me before. You know what I mean? I've never had that happen to me.
What happened after?
He was. I walked out. I was like, I can go fuck. It's
Yeah.
like, what is this shit? You are confusing me. You are ruining the audition. I am a very logical person. If we're coordinating lines, I'm saying, hey, boom. What do I do first? Okay, you're gonna say hello, and then boom. Yeah, you get it in order. My brain, when I'm confused about something, I'm making sense. I don't get it. My brain goes, I'm not getting it.
Did your agent give you an earful after?
No, for what? They work for me.
Yeah.
They work for me. you know. And I was like, fuck that dude. You don't yell at people. That's unprofessional. You're not supposed to do that kind of shit. I'm with SAG. I'm with Screen Actors Guild.
Oh, he yelled at you.
Yeah, he kind of was like, just do it. I was like, yo, my man, who the fuck are you talking to right now?
Yeah.
Just want to know. Who is there someone behind me? Fuck
Right.
out of here with this shit.
Yeah, you're like, I don't need to
It's
be
like
here.
we wake up early, find parking, this whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Some people are paying bills, and you just want to have a good audition, and it's in the hand of some fucking bozo that doesn't know what they're doing. It rarely happens. Like I said, most casting people really know what they're doing. They're professional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that whole I was like, what, dude? I gotta throw a chair at you? What you want me to do?
Yeah.
Bash your fucking head with. I know. I'm talking. I'm getting a little violent because I thought it sounds cool.
Could you imagine being one of these people that has to rely on these acting gigs to pay
There's a
bills?
lot of them. There's thousands of actors going out for small parts. It's like the NBA. It's a lot of actors, and a lot of us will join the Screen Actors Guild. Do you know the Screen Actors Guild?
Yeah, it's SAG.
The SAG, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
You get benefits from that, right?
You get benefits if you're working, but you still got to pay your dues. You know, Here we go. Like, I'll show you. See, this is a Screen Actors Guild card.
Whoa.
Screen Actors Guild, everyone. I am with the Screen Actors Guild. SAG AFTRA, my friend. Yep. That's the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation for TV and Radio Artists.
I wish I had one of those.
You can get
I'll
one.
flash one at bitches that are trying to be actors. Be like, yeah, so. Sorry. Did you see that? My bad.
They'll be like, did you pay your dues? You got to pay your dues. You got to pay. And then you get benefits like health benefits, stuff like that. And it depends. If you're working, your benefits get increased. If you're not working, you're just paying money to be part of this guild.
Yeah.
And the guild is supposed to protect you, especially if you have a gig. They're supposed to make sure the conditions are right. You're eating your food. You're getting your break. You're getting your overtime. It's a union.
Yeah.
It's the same as WG. I'm with the Writers Guild also because I was able to sell a show at one time. So I'm with the Writers Guild. So you pay your dues though. But you have to be, once you're working is when a lot of stuff generates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn, that's crazy.
You don't want to be an actor?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't think the audition thing would fucking wear me down, I think.
Yeah.
I hear about you guys talking about it. Yeah, I went in, man. There's like 36 motherfuckers. And I did this thing. And then they were like, and then they were like, all right, yeah, that was good. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, was that good? Or was that not good?
They'll be like, great, thanks. And you're like, you stunk.
Yeah.
Great. And they'll say great thanks when you were garbage. Like, okay, great thanks. Or they'll go, maybe you want to look at it again? Go outside. We'll do it over. Yeah, they'll have that.
You ever go in not prepared?
I've done that before when I didn't give a fuck about a project. I was like, ready, action. Yo, where my bitch at? That's not in the script. I'm just improvising. No, but I've gone in.
And you killed it probably. It was a couple of times.
Sometimes when you don't care, you go in
and just smash
it. And then sometimes when you think you smashed it, you sucked. I mean, it's so subjective.
It is.
Like with acting, my thing with acting is like, if somebody's acting like a crackhead, how do you know that you have done the right crackhead?
Yeah.
Like if I'm a crackhead, I'm like, I was like, all crackheads don't act like that. So if someone comes in, we're reading for the crackhead, right? And you come in, and they say, well, we didn't really. I go, so what crackhead did you pick? Because this is drug behavior. Everybody has different drug behavior personalities.
Right.
So acting, are you doing it right? When is acting actually right? Is that what a person would, okay, say someone playing a psycho father. Okay, is that the proper psycho father?
Right.
That's why it's so subjective. That's what makes it even more hard.
I think they probably just follow whatever the person in charge is thinking. Like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. That was. I agree.
Yeah, it's
like that.
It's hard to because when you're picking your choices, you go, oh, I'm in a scene with the cowboy. Okay, I got it. I'll do it like this. And then I'll say, hey, could you, or they'll guide you. Sometimes you might be overacting. They can see the acting, because real actors don't look like they're acting.
Right.
They don't look like they're acting. They look like it's just a normal conversation. But if you're like this, listen, man, I told you, brother, you got to understand where we come from, baby.
And I said something about parents not raising their children in our country. And I said that so often libertarians, you know, I don't want to go through the whole thing again, but I basically said so often libertarians talk about all of these transformations in our society, going, you know, from a gold standard to a fiat-based currency model, or going from, you know, a republic to an empire, going, you know, the rise of the whatever, you know, the national security state, things like this. There's probably 15 others that you can rattle off in your head right now. I said, but one of the things that very rarely gets brought up by libertarians is that we transitioned from a society where families raise their children to one where it's outsourced, and parents really don't raise their children anymore. And to me, I was like, this is like the most profound, most bottom-up change. Not that it came from a bottom-up direction, but you understand what I'm saying. Like it affects the bottom all the way up. And that I think this is something libertarians should talk about. And you know, if you think you're going to have a libertarian social order, and when I say that, I mean, obviously libertarianism is a legal order, but human beings are human beings. And if you think you're going to have a social order that supports a libertarian legal order when children aren't being raised by their families, I think you've got another thing coming, and that's not going to work out very well. And I was, there were a few people, 3 or 4, maybe 5 people, libertarians who responded to me because this clip got posted by the Part of the Problem Clips Twitter page. And a few people responded, and they said basically that libertarians shouldn't be talking about this because libertarians don't have any opinion on the matter. Like, libertarians say you should be free to organize your family however you want to. If you want to leave your kid with a nanny or in daycare or something like that, that's your choice. There should be no law against that, and that's that. It's the libertarians basically have nothing to say about this. And I really couldn't help but think to myself, I go, this is why libertarianism is seen as a joke by so many people. Like, this is the exact reason why people write us off. And if people are taking that attitude, I got to say, particularly as somebody who, you know, who's a father, I get it. I get why they would write you off if that's your attitude. If you can't state a preference between a child being raised by their parents or a child being you know, basically, you know, just dumped in daycare, if you can't state a preference between the two of those things, why should anybody take you seriously as a person?
No, okay, you're going to defend yourself in a moment, but let me just plunge in with a couple of things, and then of course you want to defend yourself. First of all, let me give you a couple of facts from the Census Bureau. You know, we could talk about how good their data are, but in fact, they take frequent snapshots, and for what it's worth, more than 1 in 3 women are stay-at-home moms for children under age of 6, under the age of 6. More than 1 in 3. So at least let's understand that it isn't not going to impress you too much, but I just want some facts on the table. And then for children who are age 6 to 17, 1 in 4 are stay-at-home moms still to this day. But then, of course, rhetorically to say you're not raising your children if you only see them, if you only call them up during the day, see them in the evenings and weekends, or take them on vacation. Obviously, you know, of course, you were being a little bit rhetorically over the top. They're with a nanny during the day at the age of 6, and of course they're at the age of 5, and of course they're usually in a government-run school when they're 6 or 7, which of course is a different issue altogether. If you're a stay-at-home mom, they're in that damn government-owned school, so that's a separate issue, and you are conflating the two. The point is, but let me finish with one other point. Let me just say as well that the reason why I would say that this fits into the category of, you know, the guy just wants to go out with white women, so maybe he's a nice guy and he just thinks they're sexier. I don't know, or whatever. But the point is that there might be women. That's 2 out of 3 who are under the age of 6. First of all, we're going to get into the economics maybe later, but there might be women who just love their jobs and they want to have kids. If they get a decent nanny, then then who's to judge? I didn't meet these people. Obviously, if we know particular individuals who parked their kid with some mean nanny, that's bad. But you do know, obviously, they are still present in their children's lives. They're still living with their kids, so they're raising them, and they're farming it out to a nanny. What if you don't want your darling Layla to be taken care of by a nanny? Wonderful, do it. But the idea that you want to single this particular practice out and talk about how we're not going to have a sustainable libertarian society if people aren't home with their kids. I mean, look, there may be a mother could be resentful. It might be better to have mom happy at her job and returning to her kids at the end of the day. Who the hell knows? Then, of course, there are also people who have some financial constraints and financial burdens. So condemning this situation generally, I think, is a little bit like, again, saying that this guy who only wants to go out with white women, hey, we're not going to have a libertarian society if we allow him to do that. So go ahead, Dave.
Okay, well, let me flip this around a little bit. First off, what I will concede is that certainly it's not true that everybody isn't raising their children, and perhaps I was a little bit over the top with that. Yeah. But if you did look, and
even the raising their children again is a metaphor.
Oh, sure.
Because obviously,
but let me
if you live with your kids, you're raising them pretty much.
Okay, but so then it's more or less argument.
You recognize it's a rhetorical overstatement. It doesn't capture the reality.
To some degree, sure. But let me just say this, and by the way, I don't know what clips you're pulling up here, and I wanted to go into it like that so I could see. Yeah, I can, kind of. So I didn't actually watch this clip back before. So just to make the point, I don't have numbers in front of me. Okay. But if you were to look at, say, the illegitimacy rate, the single motherhood rate, it has really picked up.
Well, you're changing the subject.
No. I'm just making the point that these things have dramatically increased over the last 50 years.
But that's not. But again, Dave, that's the reason why I wanted to start with the idea of thick libertarianism, because I wanted to talk about how in so many ways you and I are not far apart. And the point is that we should definitely understand the role of the state in that particular case.
No question. But I made this point when I was talking about it, that there's also, of course, there's state-run daycares, there's public schools. There's oftentimes it is the government who's filling this role. Hold on, let me just make the point. Yeah. In the same sense that you said, if there was a company who wanted to fire all the blacks or fire all the Jews, that we might want to speak out against that so that the government doesn't have to intervene, right? Because you want kind of there to be some type of market solution. Similarly, I think you could say that, I don't know, maybe doing heroin is to some degree an exercise in liberty, and that the government, we don't want the government to intervene.
Yes.
However, it might, but it might not be a bad idea for sane libertarians to say, hey, I think doing heroin's a really bad idea. Well, I think that's a really bad thing to do.
My understanding, Dave, you're using a whole different number of examples. Bear in mind what you just did, Dave. This is an interesting soul-form debate, and we don't have a moderator. I'm trying to moderate it and bully you a little bit, Dave. But the point is that obviously what you're doing is you're latching upon a whole lot of other issues that are only indirectly related.
Well, no,
the fact of the matter is, I'm going to anticipate one thing. You actually did say that women going off to work, it's factually untrue. The decision of women to go off to work, by the way, started in the 1950s. The influx of women into the workforce was true for every decade since World War II, and there's absolutely no evidence that the government had much to do with it. And by the way, the real influx of the baby boomer women into the workforce coincided with the baby bust. These women were not having babies at all. They weren't having kids. They were going into the workforce, especially quickly in the 70s and 80s, even though it was happening pretty rapidly in the 50s and 60s as well. And it was by and large for the freedom of the economy, the fact that the revolution in the home, that in the kitchen, the fact that you had washers and dryers and dishwashers and all the rest, that freed women up to get jobs. And most of us would say, seemingly it's a good thing. A lot of women do want to achieve their identities as workers in the economy. Therefore, you actually said, Dave, I mean, you said it was the CIA was involved. You were sounding like a parent.
The CIA. What I said was that the CIA was involved in the feminist movement, which they absolutely were.
Well, tell me. Then that's something I didn't know. How? Were
The CIA was funding different feminist publications. They had different feminists who were working with them.
Why were they doing this? I don't know. Tell me why.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly
you mean
why.
They really cared about taxes, about getting taxes for the government? They're such obsessive.
Well, I don't know
collectors.
about that, but I think that the breakup of the family unit has in many ways played into the state's hands. And listen, I don't claim to know exactly why, but
you probably do know. You probably do know that maybe you're too young to know that when Murphy Brown, the popular sitcom character, decided to have her baby and become a single mom, Vice President Dan Quayle, then still vice president,
I remember,
in the name of the White House and the national government, condemned her as a
That's
whore.
True.
And so therefore, again, those idiots in government don't know what the heck they're
doing.
Well,
yes, but this is what the conservatives do. The conservatives play that they're on team family values as they lose more and more and more. So he's trying to get votes from the people who look at shows like this and go like, well, why are we as a culture celebrating a single mother who works all the time? And by
Settlement.
But it has. I mean, Gene, this is undeniable. For the last for my entire life, there has been an absolute celebration of single motherhood. That they are the champions, they are the heroes, they are the real ones that we need to praise. Every Oprah show and all of these different like pop culture things. Okay. Yes, absolute celebration. And I think that what most of the conservative base that Dan Quayle needed to get votes from was looking at things like this and going, why are we celebrating? But if you remember, even back then when Hillary Clinton first said that she came onto the scene, and it was in 1991 or 92, I believe, when they were running for president, and she said, a lot of people are just expecting the wife of the president to sit at home and bake cookies or something along those lines. And it got a big backlash from conservative women who were like, why are we denigrating housewives? And so I understand.
Well, that's.
And why should we not? Why should libertarians not say that if I was going to choose to celebrate one or the other, I would celebrate families having children when you're actually going to be more active in their lives. Why would we not?
So they give you.
Ralph doesn't listen to me. Text me about it.
You're gonna do stunt school.
Yeah, so I went there, and you do J turns. You do the Rockford turns where you back up, you throw it, you spin the car around. You do e-brake stuff. And,
How long was stunt school?
I was there for 3 days, maybe.
Okay, so not like enough where you should feel comfortable doing 100.
Look, it gave me more competency than shit I pulled off in a rent-a-car.
Right, fair enough.
So it's like, you knew how to.
But which one, when you said that you did 180 something in 173 on the Autobahn.
In a Lamborghini Hurricane, I did 147 in a Tunnel in a Viper and 188 in an F12 Berlinette.
And those are your three top speeds.
Top speed is 188, yeah.
Yeah, and so.
What's the most danger you've been in ever with that? None?
I had 800 laid out on a crap table. Scared the shit out of me.
I saw on the Impractical Jokers cruise, by the way, a guy willy-nilly throwing down $1,500 bet. And just as he hammered, drunkenly just lost it, he'd be like, whatever. Go on to the next table. Man,
sick money.
What's the rush at that point? It's supposed to be money that's going to break you or make you have an okay year.
I only gambled a handful of times in my life. I'm not a big gambler. And I was at my friend Paul's.
You raw dog that Tampa guy.
A
lot of people say that's a gamble.
I was playing craps, which I barely understand. Mm-hmm. And I was up like $2,500. I'd already put my original $400 back in my pocket. And I had $2,500 to play with. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to make a $2,000 bet.
He lost it all.
And I lost it all.
Of course.
But I took that $500 and left, so I was up $500.
Then they come like this. We'd love to buy you breakfast.
Yeah. And they go, Ralph, I will give you $1 million for one magical night.
With your hairy asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Thank you.
Other than were there any cars that stick out as your favorite cars that you drove? Was it those three?
Oh, yeah. There's shitloads of cars. One of the cars that saved my life was the 76 Coupe de Ville. I jumped it about 40 feet in the air.
Wait, I don't understand. Give you a little context.
No. we were doing moonshine. So you had to pick a car and you had to run moonshine. NASCAR started because the guys running shine were out running the cops. So they were racers. So that's how it started. So we all pick a car. I picked a 76 Caddy. Because listen to me, what else should I be driving? Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also a tank.
Huge.
Yeah.
So one of the challenges, we had to go to this motorcycle track. And so it's a motorcycle track for dirt bikes. And I got this monster car. So I knew if I stopped, Spalding tires, rear wheel drive, this thing, if this thing stopped, I'm never getting out of it. So you had to go around turns, you had to go up a hill, you had to go through water, and then there was a big incline.
And you're racing other people, I guess.
No, this was
or
just,
time.
we all do it for time, right?
Time, right.
So I went through the water. I almost rolled. It's called the Flying Coupe de Ville. It's on YouTube. I went through the water, and I knew I couldn't lift off the gas because I had to make this hill. So I'm standing on this thing, and I come out of the water. I go up the hill, and all of a sudden, it got real quiet because I was in the air.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Real quiet for
Put your hand out the window?
long time. Yeah. For a long time. I actually felt my hair turn into a mullet. So and we were shooting in North Carolina, and as I'm in the air, wondering what the fuck have I just done, I hear, yeah! Because they were all watching us shoot. And I, boom, and I bananaed this thing. It just looked like that.
Oh,
Just-
cracked in
the whole
half.
front-
Really?
The whole front of the car.
Stopped
came
right
off.
there, done.
No, I heard the fan hitting the radiator, and all kinds of shit, piss, and corruption were going on underneath it. And then all of a sudden, steam and death.
How many years did you actually do that show? It was
About
what?
6, 7
6 years. That's crazy. It was always a fun, always something crazy on that show.
Yeah, it was always something we
always travel.
Yeah, we did a lot in LA because the budget on the show, our big one were the journey, so we had to go to different countries and stuff. So those were expensive shows. The build shows were very expensive too. We made amphibious boats and tried to cross Lake Erie.
Wow!
And mine sunk. It was I put a Jeep inside of a
You
Boston
made your
Whaler.
own. You made your own amphibious.
Here's the thing: it's like I didn't make them, but I can design them in the production meetings.
You had theories, and someone would make
and someone would. The guy who does Dennis, who does all the Batmobiles and stuff, they made all our shit.
And no one told you this is not a good idea. It's going to sink.
Everybody told me this is not a good idea, but we did it anyway. I made we had an episode.
This thing's a sink. He goes, I went the entire bottom made of sand.
Yeah, I made. We had to make
Adam, it's not gonna work.
RVs, and so I took a 70.
What'd you say again?
We had to make RVs, so
That's
we had to make
awesome.
our own RV. So my theory was I wanted to bring a piece of home with me, so I feel comfortable. So I got a '72 Buick Centurion station convertible, and I put the Flatiron Building on it because I'm from New York. So it was a big Flatiron Building, and I would crawl up. The top was down. I'd crawl up, and there was a toilet and everything, and there was this big thing, and it was 13 feet 6
Jesus
inches.
Christ!
And the bridge clearance was 13 feet 6 inches.
Really?
Yeah, well, because I measured the bridges because I think we did it in North Carolina. So I measured where I was just be able to get under it, and I did. I just got under it. And a bunch of NASCAR guys had other RVs, and we raced them on a dirt track. And I got pit maneuvered, and so I got knocked over. It was in the opening credits in one of the seasons, but because the thing was so heavy, it went over really slowly. So it was like slow motion. So I feel this, I go, and I hit the bow, I go, this thing's going over. I look down at the bar, I'm like, well, that looks welded. I'll hold on to it.
When I went to that thing for what's it called, Sturgis, when I was out in Sturgis, and I was doing a thing for a CMT channel. One of the things I was going around and seeing people's RVs. It's insane what you can do with an RV now. I mean,
Sure. Now that they, especially like, was it 15 years ago? When they
I mean,
made it so you could,
as nice as a decent shitty like studio apartment
for sure.
I mean, if not better. I mean, full size showers. Yeah, exactly. They do the thing where they open like wide.
Yeah, that's what changed the game because you could double the width of your RV when you're parked.
But I mean, like full stove kitchen.
Yeah. I had a kitchen in the one I built. I had flames shoot out of the exhaust so we could cook. We called it the fire-breathing Buick. We drove it in the middle of a NASCAR lap. We got hot dogs. We put them on a stick, and we were cooking them.
Well,
Were you a car guy growing up?
Yeah, I loved car. I can't fix it, Jay. I can't fix it. The carburetor's gone now. I can't. I don't have that if-then go-to statement. But my father could, and to spend time with my dad, I learned all about cars because I wanted to be close to Pop, and I got into cars that way.
Did Top Gear ever do Sturgis? Because that's logical.
I did.
Yeah.
They had to give me a trike so I didn't kill myself.
That's funny.
They gave me a sidecar because of the balance. Yeah, so they gave me a sidecar, and I drove around like Steve McQueen in The Great Escape.
That's hilarious. I did the Black Hills run that they do one of the days for charity. It's like
You did it on a motorcycle?
It's like a 3-hour motorcycle thing, but
You rode bitch.
couldn't get a motorcycle. I rode bitch to a 65-year-old lady on a trike, and I'll tell you what, blast.
That sounds great.
That's
I
sort of-
hosted.
It went through all it made me really want. When I came back from there, I never did it, but I got back from there because enough people were like, "It's a ridiculous risk to take," and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you're right to own a motorcycle."
Right.
But when I came back, I was like, all I wanted to do was get a motorcycle. Not for anything about the cool of it. I'm just like, but I'm like, where do you really get to do that around here? You don't.
You don't.
But really hitting the hills of like no lights except blinking yellow ones for miles and miles, it looks like it's so fucking fun.
I hosted at
It
the
was
Full
fun.
Throttle for 6 years, which was amazing. And I always want to go back. And just this week was talking with who did the show before, Jesse from Jackal, and he's involved with the Full Throttle. And we talked about potentially bringing SDR this August to Full Throttle, which I think would be great.
Sickness.
It'd be crazy. I mean, I've never been on a motorcycle.
We had it.
You want to see old fucking fat tits with faded Tweety Bird tattoos
Don't talk
on
about
them?
Shannon that way. She's right there.
She is not. That's my friend. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. Shannon, your tits are fantastic and they taste delicious.
What?
You're welcome.
What's happening?
We're friends, I said now.
That's different.
Well, then you're not really her friend if you don't know what I'm talking
guess I'm
about.
not.
Sugary nips, dude. It's crazy.
What?
You heard it here first.
Make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Or maybe I shouldn't say this, but then somebody gives me the info for the SNL after party and like the pass, because they do an after party where you have to have a special code, a password to get in and all that kind of a shit. So I get the intel from somebody, not naming names, but so I get it, and now it's like, he goes, it starts around 2 a.m.
Did you have to do a secret handshake or anything?
Well, it's a secret password, right? So he goes, it starts around 2 a.m. So now it's like 12:30. I'm like tired. I wasn't expecting to go out, but I'm like, SNL after party. I'd fucking check it out. Might as well, right? I was like already dressed up nice from doing the shows or whatever. So I go over to New York Comedy Club. I see Sagalo. He's hosting the 11:30. So now I'm like, I kill time there till 1:15. And then I was like, I was like, dude, you want to just let's just fucking try and go to this thing. And we're both tired, but we're both like, SNL after party. I mean, what do you know? How often, So we're like, let's fucking go. We know where it is. It's downtown at this bar that we've been to 1,000 times. So we're like, all right, let's fucking. So we kill time until 2, and then we both drove. So we both we cruise in USA down there where we're both taking highway. It's so fun driving in the city with somebody else. It's so fun. You just drive, and I found
on the way to a bar,
and I found not one but 2 parking spots for us across the street because it can't be
You're
taught.
like Vin Diesel.
And then I fucking drifted into it, and then so we go all right, now it's 2:15, 2:30, and we're because you don't want to be the first ones to show up. You fucking look like an asshole, especially to a party that we're not technically invited to, but we're so we're kind of mentally preparing ourselves for being all right, let's just fucking hit chill. We're gonna have 1 or 2 drinks, hang out, do our thing, and then we'll leave. So we walk into the bar, the bouncer IDs us and then gives us back our ID, and I'm like, don't you need something? Do you need a password or something? And he's like, what? And I go, no, isn't this? I was like, are we in the right place? And he goes, how would I know that? And I go, isn't this the place for the party? And he goes, oh, you're talking about SNL? And I was like, yeah. And then he goes, yeah, this is the after party. That doesn't start until we kick everybody out of this bar at 4. That's not going to start till 4:35 easily. And Sagalo and I go, well, have a good night. And then turn around and leave because we just killed 2 hours waffling, dragging ourselves there. And now we need to kill another 2.5 hours before then having to. And it was the Sunday before the Super Bowl. So you're
God.
I'm like, so we ended up just leaving. We just stayed out till 2:30 a.m. to walk into a bar and go, so this is where it's going to be, huh? Pretty cool. All right, well, see you later.
This is the hardest showbiz on a Saturday night, and we're a part of it, old buddy.
Yeah.
We're really doing it.
They'll know we're here. Maybe if we piss on the walls like a cat, they'll smell our scent later when they come here. And that was it.
Did you memorize talking points? I memorized talking points.
Yeah. I figured I'd mention about what's going on and how the landscape has changed. But we were one of those things where we both had a moment where we're should, and then no, of course, we're not waiting. We don't give a shit that much to wait another 2 hours in a bar when you're again, because we drove, so we're there's a limit on how much we could drink too. So it's and then once you get there, if we have 1 drink per hour the next 2 hours, then the party starts, and then we're just going to stand there being sober Sally's with 2 club sodas, being
Till
like
7 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
not only that, but I don't think all of the cool people end up at the after party, you know?
The sketchy motherfuckers
way
that
later.
are
Yeah,
just
yeah.
doing blow and are like, yeah, Saturday night.
And then I
yeah.
checked the invitation that I got, and it clearly said after party. But I was told too, so I don't know.
That's not what we worried about.
Sister, you was doing the
Things-
crybaby?
I gotta tell you, things are less gross in Florida. Like a floor is less gross in Florida than it is in New York. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just like the bottom of a shoe is just touched like grass and dirt. You know what I mean? It's not like New York where people are like shitting and it's like, don't touch the bottom of your shoes. There's MRSA on it. It's not really like that.
There's anthrax on it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not like that. It's a different kind of dirty here. I'm going to tell you, you guys are fucking pigs.
Right.
Anybody that lives here is absolutely filthy. Don't let them finger you.
Okay, well.
You guys are dirtier than you know. I am one of you now.
Sure.
I've been here for 3 years. It's bad.
You feel dirtier now?
Oh, absolutely.
Did they have any videos of people doing this slutty dance on the internet?
I literally can only find a child doing it, and I don't want to bring that up.
Pull it up.
No, I don't want to.
How old is the child?
How old's the kid? Let's talk.
She
Can we
looks
just
to
see
be
the
about
frame?
11.
Can we just see it without it playing?
Yeah, let's
Hold
just
on a
see
second.
one frame.
Let's see the let's see the still.
I gotta go back to it.
Because it might be me.
She looks to be about 11 was what he said. She's with so much sadness in his voice.
So much.
bring
She's
it up, Frank.
absolutely from Florida. I got to tell you. Oh yeah.
Oh, she's
okay.
a-
So you see from there. Okay, got it.
Oh, she's so young.
Yeah, she shouldn't be doing the cry. Look at her pants. That's what we look like doing the crybaby, though. But you would just your friends would circle around you. This is what you do. Your
so
friends,
you don't get in trouble.
Yes, and you do it real quick, and then you get back up.
Right.
It was just like a second of boner you wouldn't give those guys.
And you would get on the floor and do it alone. You'd be the only bitch on the floor doing it.
Yes, and
there
then-
wouldn't be like 3 or 4 bitches crying next to each other.
No. We weren't cry threesoming. No.
Because some dances you like are better off with a friend, you know, like two. But I guess that one is not.
I loved slow dancing with boys.
I never. Yeah, no, we skipped right past the slow dancing because we didn't get those 5th grade dances.
Oh, the slow dance.
We had 7th
You thought
grade,
about
like-
it all night.
We had 7th grade hump circles, and that was it.
I remember those.
Yeah.
For the slow dance, you sat in your bed and you were like, we're going to get married one day, him and I.
Did you ever get to slow dance with the exact guy you went into the night wanting to slow dance
I think
with?
so, yeah. I don't specifically remember because I've done too many drugs.
The heat. I literally think I got goosebumps thinking of slow dancing with the guy that you thought about slow dancing with before the dance started.
Have never been more excited than when I slow danced with a guy that I wanted to dance
hot little 4th grader. God damn it.
with. To be a kid again. Did I ever tell you that when I was in 6th grade, I had a crush on a 4th grader?
No.
And it was really weird
No,
for me.
that's inappropriate though. It's just like right at the cusp of inappropriate because you're like 13 and he's 11.
No, in 6th grade, you're not 13.
You're 12. and
You're
he's 10.
11 or 12, and he's 10 or 9.
Yeah, still bad.
It's really bad. A 12 and a 9-year-old is just wrong. But when I tell you this boy did not look like a 9-year-old baby.
He was hot for 9, man.
He was really hot. And you know what? He was always really hot. He grew up hot. He's dead now, but he grew up hot.
Have you seen like the trend on TikTok where chicks are reading their descriptions of their like 5th grade crushes from their diary and then showing a picture of what the guy looked like in 5th grade? It's the best thing ever.
What I would give to have my diary back.
It's so good. It's like his eyes look at me with the moonlight in them, and it's just like some fucking dumpy looking little kid, like a fat kid.
Oh, that's the fucking best.
Like it's a picture of him with like a weird party hat on and like a lei around his neck from like a DJ party, and you're like, oh, he has braces.
Oh my God.
It's always great. It's so great. The things I thought about the boys in my class, I literally as an adult, I haven't had the thought of a man being as manly as the 5th graders when I was in 5th grade, how manly I thought they were.
If there are any 5th grade boys listening to this podcast right now, I want you to know this with much certainty. Maybe it's different now, though, because of phones and technology and people seem to be more advanced. But when I was in 5th grade, I would have gone out with any boy that asked me out. You know what I mean? Like just the thought of, and I don't think the boys knew that. Did you feel like that too? Like almost anyone who asked me out, I would have been like, I could have found a way to make him cute. You know what
idea
I mean?
of, like if a girl came over and was like, I heard Joey had a crush on you, immediately I have a crush on Joey now.
Absolutely.
Wow, Joey thinks I'm great. What?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way it works in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So for all our 5th grade listeners,
go for it.
Jump on it.
Jump on it.
Don't be afraid, baby girl.
No, no more, Alex. That's it. That's enough. Thank you. We're good on that.
It's your time to shine.
Alex, shut up.
What? It's not wrong to tell 5th graders to date each other.
No, you're right. In 5th grade, this boy named Ricky had a crush on me.
Yeah.
And there is this thing like, you know, like weird after school, like Halloween events, like a fall fest or something that your parents came to after school.
So much fun.
Yeah. And there was one where you could throw Jello at this teacher volunteer who was like this guy that was always, he's like just someone that everyone in the school knew for some reason. Some dude we just let into
desperately needed to be liked to the point where everybody could throw Jello at him. It's whatever.
Yeah, and everyone would throw Jello at him, and the boy Ricky that liked me was the one in charge of getting the $1 and giving getting the 50 cents and giving the Jello piece.
Okay, he was working the booth.
And the amount of free Jello I got that night to throw would impress any woman to be Ricky's girlfriend for 3 days like I was.
How good did that feel? You were probably the queen of the Halloween ball.
It was in front of my mother and my aunt. And they were every time he gave me a new piece of Jello, they'd be like, "Oh, look at that piece!" And they gave her another. Ricky gave you another piece of Jello. It was like that.
Ricky.
They're like, for free. They're like, go get another one. They were so Puerto Rican about it. They were like, we're saving money off Kim's fun. You know what I mean? Every Jello for me was another $1 in their pocket.
It's like, yeah, that looks like fun over there, but let's stick around here with the Jello.
Where's Ricky? Ricky got a dad.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Nobody had an outward crush on me. I was just outwardly crushing on people as a kid.
I crushed on people. I didn't tell them.
No, I
told them.
I didn't tell them. I told everybody else. Literally everybody wouldn't stop talking about it to the point where like they had to find out within a day. You know?
Yeah. You went around and rumored yourself.
I really, I slung some shit about myself.
You rumored yourself.
I'm still doing it. That's my job here.
Yeah, here, Alex, I heard she got a pussy hair now. Tell the boys.
Fill her up. You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.